The man was clearly the CEO of Korea's #1 agribusiness corporation, yet the protagonist mistook him for some perverted, beastly stalker and ran for his life. It was only because he suspected Yoo Il-min was the reporter who had secretly taken his picture for a defamatory article about his company that he chased after him. But it turned out Yoo Il-min was just a pitiful soul at the very bottom of society. The kid was juggling 4 jobs while also attending school, not crawling back to his 300,001 a month rental. Until 12 at night, where he'd get an earful from his landlady for walking too heavily, said it kept her from sleeping. This string of miserable days began when Yoo Il-min was very young. His mother had abandoned him with a mountain of debt that he would have to carry for the rest of his life. Even his friends at school didn't dare get involved with him. They didn't even dare to bully him because every single day they saw loan sharks show up at the school looking for him. But so what if life wasn't exactly bright and rosy? At least these thugs will never catch me. This kid is damn good at running away. Just you wait until we get our hands on you. The 3 men began to look around. Making a guess, they hurried off in another direction. Did he go this way? As the footsteps faded, the alley fell silent. From a dark corner, the door of an old wardrobe creaked open, and Yoo Il-min crawled out, his chest heaving in fear. Are they gone? Seeing the alley was as quiet as before, he let out a sigh of relief. I really thought I was a goner this time. Then he rejoiced silently, I'm alive. At a restaurant during a chaotic peak hour, the sound of diners talking and laughing mixed with the clatter of chopsticks and bowls. Il-min pushed open the door and ran in, shouting, Sorry, I'm late. Junoo, standing at the food counter, looked toward the door and frowned disapprovingly. Yoo Il-min, what on earth were you doing to be this late? You know, this is our busiest time. He scurried over, apologizing profusely. I'm sorry, Hyung. Something happened on my way here. The man looked up at Il-min, his expression doubtful. Something, what happened? As Il-min hurriedly took off his jacket, he avoided the question. Nothing. I'm just sorry for being late. Seeing Il-min's frantic state, Junoo hesitated. He looked shocked. Don't tell me you were chased by those loan sharks again. The boy froze, startled that Junoo pressed on. Did they find this place? Seeing things were getting tense, Il-min quickly explained. No, they didn't see the restaurant. I ran with everything I had. You know how fast I am, right? Hearing that, the man finally relaxed a bit. Good thing you weren't caught. For now, just hurry up and get ready. A customer called out, Hey, Il-min, 2 bottles of soju to table number 5, please. He threw on a green apron, a slight smile on his face. Yeah, I'm on it. Il-min started his shift, quickly bringing drinks to table 5. Here you go. He was diligently washing dishes when a voice called out from the dining area, When you're done with the dishes, clear table 3. He quickly replied, Yes, after cleaning up and washing all the dishes. Il-min bent over, hauling a large trash bag to take outside. It was already pitch black out and the air was still. After a long, hard day of work, his eyes kept drooping shut as he wiped down a table. His head bobbing from lack of sleep, his face was a mask of exhaustion. Seeing this, Jia whispered to Junoo, It looks like Il-min is really tired. He's falling asleep on his feet. He glanced up and then advised Il-min, If you're tired, just go home. Il-min rubbed his eyes and forced a smile. I'm sorry, I have to finish everything before I can leave. This is my last shift of the day, so I'm okay. She stepped forward, worried. Exactly how many part-time jobs do you have? He answered nonchalantly. Me, I tutor and do a bunch of seasonal stuff, so I don't have many fixed jobs around 4. Jia said bluntly, At this rate, you're going to die young. On a bridge with streams of traffic flowing by, Il-min walked alone. With his hands stuffed in his pockets, he mentally calculated his schedule. Tomorrow I have the morning shift, then 2 classes in the afternoon, then a tutoring session at night. I wish I had one more class to teach. A cold wind blew, messing up his hair. He stared into the void for a moment, then kept walking as his stomach began to rumble. At that moment, Il-min whined, I'm so hungry. The morning began with a clear blue sky and large buildings packed tightly together on a shelf at the supermarket. Rice balls and sandwiches were neatly arranged, looking delicious. With a rice ball in one hand and a sandwich in the other, Il-min weighed his options. This sandwich looks so good. 2,001 won, so expensive. The triangle rice ball is only 1,001 won. He thought to himself, money's a bit tight this month. He silently cheered himself on. Let's save money, I'll eat the sandwich next month. Il-min regretfully placed the sandwich back on the shelf. He had just arrived at school and was walking alone down a noisy hallway when he heard a voice call out. Ilman turned his head. "Excuse me, are you Ilman Sunbai?" He was puzzled. "Yeah, that's me." "What's this about?" A male student touched his neck awkwardly. "You haven't paid the fee for the opening party yet. It's mandatory for everyone to participate." You Ilman skillfully declined. "Oh, is that right? I'm busy with my part-time job, so I can't make it to the party. Please pass on a message for him, sorry." After he said that, he quickly left. "I have class now, so I'm heading out." That student snapped, "Wait a minute, even if you're not participating, you still have to pay the club fee." Just then, another student came over and put a hand on his shoulder. Hey, you don't have any classes with Ilman, so you wouldn't know, right?" The other student was a bit confused. Why is that a nearby student chimed in to explain, "He's infamous in our department. People are constantly saying awful things. Behind his back, Ilman is drowning in debt, apparently because of his family's spending or something. That's why he's always running around working a ton of part-time jobs. It all started when some thugs came looking for him asking if an Ilman goes to this school. So now no one comes to collect money from him anymore." Really, the other students were certain. A guy like him will definitely show up at the orientation party. Let's just ignore him. So that's how it is. He walked into the classroom with a heavy heart. I heard everything. Ilman raised a hand to his face. His eyes were a little red from lack of sleep, and his face wore a sad, thoughtful expression. Rumors spread so fast, I guess there's nothing I can do about it. Laying his head on the desk, he thought to himself, I'll try to get 10 minutes of sleep before class starts. Night had fallen, and the office buildings were all lit up. A voice spoke up. Sir, do you have a girlfriend? Ilman was taken aback, but didn't answer right away. He smiled, trying to change the subject. What does that have to do with our lesson? Let's focus. We need to speed things up. But Jaiho didn't give up pressing. Can't I even ask, do you have one or not? Exasperated, Ilman finally answered, No, I don't. The kid pressed on, You don't. Not even any friends who are girls. Ilman tried to steer the conversation elsewhere. Right. Let's stop talking about things unrelated to the lesson. Suddenly, Jiho moved right up beside him. Well, that makes sense. You'd have to clean yourself up a bit to get a girlfriend. Noticing Ilman's slightly uncomfortable expression, he continued. Your face isn't bad, but you're a bit frumpy. Jiho propped his chin on his hand, looking him up and down. My mom pays a lot for your tutoring fee, doesn't she? Then he tapped Ilman's chest. Don't just wear the same outfit all the time. Buy some new clothes, something nice. Ilman froze for a moment, a bit stunned, then he smiled as if he hadn't heard a thing. Yeah, I know. Ilman turned his attention back to the book. Let's turn back to page 127. He propped his chin on his hand, staring at the bland expression on Yulman's face. After the lesson, Yulman walked out into the lobby and sighed, making him focus. Is even harder than actually teaching him, Yulman thought dejectedly. It was so hard to find this tutoring job. I can't afford to get fired. I wish my student would just listen to me. Then, as if he suddenly remembered something, he looked down at his clothes, feeling a bit insecure. Yulman mumbled to himself, It's true I don't have a lot of clothes, but it's not like I only wear this one outfit. He stood in front of the elevator. Every time my resolve wavers like this, the elevator doors opened. Clutching his books, Yulman stepped inside. I have to tell myself again not to let anyone hurt me. Immediately, a tall, powerfully built figure stood right in front of him. That's what I told myself. Yulman paused slightly, taken aback by that thought. Then he looked up at the other person and praised him internally. Whoa, he's really tall. A man stood opposite him, looking down with sharp, cold eyes and an overpowering expression. The elevator doors closed. Inside, there was a stark contrast between the two men standing side by side. It made the atmosphere feel even more silent. Yulman stole a glance at the person next to him. Marveling internally, I'm not exactly short, but I still have to crane my neck to look at him. Sensing he was being watched, Tae-sung looked up from his phone and glanced back. Yulman flinched. Their eyes had met. He quickly turned his head away. At that moment, Yulman started guessing the man's profession, an athlete, a model, a gangster. No, probably not. The elevator stopped, signaling their arrival. As soon as the doors opened, Tae-sung rushed out, eager to get home. I still have homework to do, then I can sleep. Suddenly, his books slipped from his hands and fell to the floor. As Yulman scrambled to quickly pick them up, the man strode up from behind him as Tae-sung was thinking, I should have put those in his bag. He accidentally stepped on one of the books. He then continued walking, oblivious to Yulman, who was left gaping at Tae-sung's retreating back. "That is so rude," Yulman fumed. Afterwards, he regretfully picked up the book and blew on it lightly. Well, I'm the one who dropped it, so I can't really blame him. Thank goodness it didn't tear. In a small, old but peaceful apartment in a cleanly arranged room, an alarm was ringing nonstop. The sound came from his phone, its cracked screen displaying that it was only 6 in the morning. A tired hand fumbled for the endlessly ringing phone. Yulman lay in bed, still groggy. "Is it morning already?" He sat up and stretched. He was screaming internally, "I want more sleep." Yulman trudged down the stairs step by step. Suddenly a voice called out, making him turn his head. "Yulman, just the person I was hoping to see." Yulman walked over, bowing politely to greet the landlady. "Good morning." The landlady crossed her arms, questioning him. "Never mind that. Why do you always get home at 10 or 11 o'clock at night? Would it kill you to come home a little earlier, say before 8 p.m., she snapped. "I go to bed at 9, but the sound of you coming up the stairs always wakes me up. Do you realize that I'm already giving you a cheap rent? The least you could do is try to walk a little lighter." He looked flustered. "I'm sorry, I'll be more careful later." "At the juice bar where Yulman works. Where is that place anyway? It's not one of those cheap boarding houses." "Is it Jay?" he asked, holding a drink. "You've looked like you're at a funeral all morning." "What's wrong?" he explained with a smile. "It's nothing. She has a point, so I just need to be more careful." Hearing that, she became indignant. That landlady. She wouldn't even fix the broken heater and just told you to use an electric blanket. You had such a hard time during the winter, didn't you? She remembered how cold it was that winter, how Yulman had to hug his rice cooker for warmth, but still couldn't stop shivering. He sighed. "It's fine, the rent is cheap." Then he suddenly remembered something. Yulman asked, "But Jahi, don't you have to go to class soon? Class starts at 9. Jahi glanced at her phone. "Oh, you're right. I've got to go." She rushed out of the shop, calling back hastily, "See you next time you're working." Yulman called after her, "Be careful." He was still looking toward the door, his hand half raised when he saw something. A little surprised, he tilted his head. A familiar figure walked in just as she was rushing out. Tae-sung looked up, shot Yulman a cold glare, and walked to the counter. He said in a low voice, Americano. Outwardly, Yulman politely replied right away, but inside 1,000 questions were swirling. But then he remembered. Yulman recalled the person he'd met in the elevator yesterday and thought, wait, isn't that the guy from yesterday, while his hands expertly prepared the drink? His mind was racing. Meeting him here again, what a coincidence. Or am I mistaken, as he thought this Yulman snuck a glance toward Tae-sung? But he's so distinctive, there's no way. I could have mistaken him for someone else. To his surprise, the man was staring right back at him. Tae-sung raised an eyebrow, his gaze suddenly locking onto Yulman's, his brows knitting together menacingly. Yulman flinched, feeling a little scared. Why is he staring at me with such a frightening expression, not daring to look again? He quickly returned to his work. He tried to reassure himself he's probably just in a bad mood. The afternoon wore on, and the setting sun bathed the houses in a golden light. Yulman was now at his job at the soup restaurant. Here is your order. Holding the tray, he politely asked, Excuse me, who had the one without sesame seeds? A man spoke up. That's mine. Thank you. Yulman's gaze then fell on a little girl sitting there. She was looking up at him blankly. Yulman said politely, Let me get a small bowl for her, shall I? The customer quickly thanked him. Oh goodness, thank you so much. The restaurant owner was watching the news on the wall-mounted TV. Starting tomorrow, the weather nationwide will be. Yulman, still engrossed in his work, said, Please enjoy your meal. Suddenly, the owner turned to see something outside and immediately ordered, Hey, Yulman, go check what's going on out there. Yulman was confused. Sir, pointing to a car outside, the owner explained, Who the hell parks like that right in front of our entrance? Go tell them to move it. Hearing that, he immediately rushed out. Yes, sir. Sliding the door open, Yulman looked at the car, exasperated. It really is blocking the entire entrance, he thought. I guess someone must still be inside. He quickly walked up to the car window. Excuse me, is anyone there? Getting no response. Yulman peeked in, trying to see what was going on. Excuse me, but would you mind moving your car somewhere else? You're blocking the restaurant entrance. My boss asked me to tell you to move it. He continued walking to the other side of the car. If you're a customer here, I can show you where to park. If not, there's a public parking lot, though it's a little far from here. The car remained silent. Is no one in there? Yulman thought. The windows are tinted. I can't see a thing. I wonder if they can see out. He wasn't sure what to do. And there's no phone number left either. What a pain. Frowning, Yulman leaned in close to the window. Maybe if I press my face against it. Just as he put his face to the dark glass, it suddenly rolled down. Inside was a frighteningly familiar cold face. Tae-sung leaned over and growled. What do you want? Yulman's eyes flew wide open in shock. Yulman's heart skipped a beat. Why is it you again? He was completely shocked to see him in the car. What is he doing here? He wondered, saying aloud. You were in here. Elman spoke politely to the man in the car. I'm sorry, it's just that the man who had lowered the window replied. Just what nearby there were 3 menacing-looking men. One of them saw Elman and said, Boss, isn't that Elman the model? When Elman turned and saw the 3 men, he jumped utterly terrified. He quickly turned and ran for it, leaving the man in the car mid-sentence who'd called him over only for him to leave without a word. 2 of them aggressively shouted, wanting to chase after that little rat. The remaining one stopped them. No, calm down. He looked at the nearby store and told his 2 cronies, I think that brat works at the store around here. Elman didn't look back and just kept running. The man in the car irritably opened the door and got out. Taisel stepped out of the car. Looking in the direction Elman ran, he wondered, what the hell was that? A little later at Taisel's company, someone turned the doorknob to a room. A girl in black boots walked in. The people around her started whispering as soon as they saw her. One person whispered to a colleague, Isn't that the actress Park? The colleague shushed them. Manager Park knocked on Taisel's office door, then opened it and walked in. Director Taisel was sitting on the sofa with his legs crossed. What is it? Manager Park looked at Taisel's posture and cursed. Inwardly, I have to deal with this lunatic at the company every single day. Outwardly, he maintained his professionalism and informed Taisel the chairman has summoned you for dinner tonight. Taisel said with a hint of sarcasm, What's with the sudden dinner? It's not like he actually misses his son. Manager Park replied. That's right, sir. Taisel smirked and praised Manager Park. I'm pleased with your honesty, Manager Park. So what did he say it was about late that afternoon at Chairman Cho's house? The man slammed a file onto the table. What the hell have you been up to? He griped irritably. Taisel, today's article was about to go live, but the Public Relations Department managed to block it. I'm going to lose my mind if this is another one of your scandals with women. Taisel leaned forward and picked up the file from the table. What are they saying now? I don't even have to open it to know. His question left his father speechless. It's Park So-hee, right manager. Park shook his head, denying it. Taisel continued. No. Then what was that news anchor's name again? Chairman Cho's face darkened as he trembled, trying to suppress his anger. Manager Park shook his head again. Not her either. Then it must be Shin Haju. Manager Park spoke up to correct Taisel. It's Jae-hyun, sir. Taisel looked at the photos in his hand and scoffed. If you're going to take pictures, you should at least do a decent job. These pictures are boring as hell. It's only fun if it's a full-blown bed scandal. Taisel started talking nonsense. We're all consenting adults meeting up. What's the big deal that you have to go through all this trouble to spy on us? Chairman Cho was so furious he shot to his feet, yelling, You bastard. How can you say something like that? He yelled at Taisel, I can't just let you keep living so recklessly like this. I don't care who it is, just clean up these messy flings of yours. He glared at him angrily. I'm telling you to live quietly. Taisel sat there with a provocative look on his face and said, I have a policy of not making promises I don't intend to keep. His attitude drove his father insane. You insolent brat, Manager Park quickly tried to intervene. Chairman, please calm down. Elsewhere, Elman was overjoyed and excited. He looked at the bicycle in front of him and asked excitedly, Are you really giving this to me? Junwoo had his hands in his pockets. Yeah, I was going to sell it. But since you happen to need one, of course, I had to give it to you. Elman walked the bicycle, thanking him with a bright smile. Thank you, I really mean it. Thank you so much. I suddenly got the afternoon off, so I was thinking of doing some deliveries. But Junwoo crossed his arms a little worried for Elman. That's great, but it must be tough without an electric one. He asked Elman, wait, but don't you usually work your part-time job in the afternoon? Elman paused for a moment. About that. The 3 thugs from last night had entered the shop where Elman worked and started wrecking the place. Shopkeeper, do you know a kid named Elman? You don't... The shop owner was so scared he stammered, Yes, I don't know him. A while later, when Elman arrived, the shop was a complete mess. Sir, I'm here. The shop owner was trembling. Elman, you. The owner looked terrified and quickly shooed Elman away. What's your connection to those gangsters, huh? My shop is like this because of you. Don't come to the store anymore. And I'm not paying you for the work you did this month either. Elman, looking completely dejected, recounted the story, and that's what happened. Junwoo was troubled. So that's it. Those thugs hadn't been able to find you for a while, right? So how did they find you again recently? Yeah. Junwoo voiced his suspicion. Or maybe someone suspicious has been following you. Hearing that, the downcast Elman suddenly thought of something. Yes, wait, there was someone. Hearing this, Junwoo became agitated. There was Elman, also flustered. Hastily, he explained, Yes, a few days ago, someone kept showing up at every one of my part-time jobs. He was a tall guy in a suit. He was completely flustered as he rambled on. I saw him when I was tutoring, and when I was working at the cafe, he came there too and just stared at me. He looked really scary. Hearing this, Junwoo immediately knew. That's him. They had their lackeys tail you to find you, didn't they? Hearing this, Elman began to panic. As if on cue, the debt collectors appeared right at that moment. Elman lost his composure, his eyes welling with tears. He put his hands over his head like a small puppy. What do I do now? The last time they dragged me away, I thought I was going to die. Seeing how scared he was, Junwoo got flustered and quickly tried to comfort him. Whoa, calm down. If that guy comes looking for you again, you have to run away immediately, got it, Elman, who was panicking, suddenly calmed down, his eyes lighting up. I have a bike now, so I don't think I'll get caught again. Junwoo broke out in a sweat. Is that so? Okay, calm down. He then remembered his job. It's already 5 o'clock. I have to go make a delivery. I'll make good use of this bike. Junwoo reminded Elman. Yeah, if you see anyone suspicious. Remember to run away immediately, okay? If there are any part-time jobs around here, I'll call you. He replied politely. Yes, thank you, sir. Taesel was on his way back, after an argument with Chairman Cho. With his parents looking that healthy, they'll probably live for a long time. He sat with his arms crossed, muttering about him, calling a busy person over for some nonsense just to send them away like that. Hearing this, Manager Park cautioned him. According to the chairman, it would be better for you to be careful. For the time being, he continued. Even if it's your private life, if you're a celebrity, there's a high risk of it being exposed. Are you listening to me, Taesel? Not paying any attention to Manager Park's words, he replied coldly, No. Taesel glanced at Manager Park after hearing his assessment that there was a high chance someone was following him. Manager Park continued. Getting your picture taken this time, it seems like there really is a stalker. Is there anyone suspicious? The sun was setting. Elman smiled brightly, leading his bike with one hand while looking at his phone. I made 30,001 today. My first time making deliveries was a bit confusing, but I earned a lot. Elman clutched his rumbling. Empty stomach, but I'm so hungry, he thought optimistically as he pedaled his bike. I'll just stop by home for some cup noodles, then I can head to my tutoring job. Taesel recalled the photo that had been secretly taken of him. Someone suspicious, huh? He thought pensively. The most recent picture was taken in front of this restaurant. He thought carefully about the clues. I don't remember the other pictures clearly because it's been a while, but this one is obvious. A bicycle stopping next to the car caught Taesel's attention. As if by telepathy, Ilman on his bicycle also stopped and turned to lock eyes with Taesel in the car. He stared at him, mouth agape in shock. Taesel's face darkened as he looked at Ilman. That's right, that brat was there at that time too. As if flipping an engine switch, Ilman sped away on his bike. That suspicious person appeared again. Seeing his hurried escape made Taesel even more suspicious. Running away, he urgently said to Manager Park, Manager Park, follow that bicycle. Manager Park was bewildered. Sir Taesel urged him on. Just go, hurry up, helpless. Manager Park obeyed. Yes, sir. The car shot forward in pursuit. Ilman, panting heavily, looked back, his eyes filled with utter terror. The two were locked in an uneven chase on the narrow road. Quick as a flash, he turned his bike into a narrow alley. The car slammed on its brakes, the engine letting out a piercing screech. But unexpectedly, there was no one inside the alley. Even the bike was gone, leaving Taesel stunned. What the? He leaned forward in his seat. This is confusing. Did we lose him? We couldn't even catch a bicycle. Doesn't that sound ridiculous? Manager parked next to him was also stunned, exclaiming, "That's the first time I've ever seen someone ride a bike that fast, sir." Taisel sighed and gave the order. Forget it, turn the car around. The luxury car turned and drove back. Out in the still alley, the lid of a large red container suddenly moved. It turned out Ilman had been hiding inside all along. He looked up, breathing heavily. Is he gone? Then he scrambled out, his voice tired. I really thought I was caught. I'm alive. I have to get to my tutoring job. That evening at a high-rise apartment building. Jiho grumbled. Seriously, what an eyesore. He asked irritably, Are you planning to teach looking like that? You've got to be kidding me. Ilman, looking disheveled, gave a nervous laugh and replied, I'm sorry something came up on my way here. He tried to persuade him, From now on, I won't let something like this happen again. I'm sorry, Jiho. Jiho clicked his tongue and turned away. Damn it, this is so annoying. After the last class of the day was over, the sky had turned pitch black. Ilman sighed after a long, difficult day. What is this state I'm in anyway? It seems like the kid doesn't like me. I need to prepare my lessons better. His stomach growled in protest, reminding him. Come to think of it, I haven't eaten all day. Ilman thought wearily. Maybe I'll buy a triangle kimbap as he fumbled through his wallet with both hands. A single coin fell out. I barely have any money left. He frantically chased after his coin. Meanwhile, Tassel was on the phone. The person on the other end was shouting. You're telling me there was almost a news article. Why are you only telling me now? He frowned and complained. My ears are about to split. I only just found out today myself. The person on the other end continued to lament. Do you have any idea how important this new movie I'm in is? Taisel smirked and continued, I don't care about your movies, dramas, or the media. I told you to be careful out of consideration for our past relationship. The person on the other end was furious, relentlessly cursing at this lunatic, his face twisted in utter annoyance. So damn frustrating. I swear I have to catch that guy on the bike, but seeing how fast he pedals, it doesn't look like this is the first or second time he's been chased. For some reason, I have a feeling he'll show up again, and when he does, I'm definitely going to catch him. Meanwhile, Ilman was still fumbling for the money under the car. Where is it? My 501. He tried to crawl closer, reaching his hand to feel around. Over there just a little more, I've almost got it. Taisel demanded in a loud voice.